Up next, we're going to hear about a very exciting and possibly disruptive electric vehicle. And who knows, it just might go out and conquer the mass rocket. This new vehicle is called the eROCKIT. It's a cross between an e-bike and a motorcycle, so let's just take a moment to wrap our heads around that, because it's also somehow neither of those things. I mean, if you haven't seen it yet, it's really something quite remarkable. And the company describes it as a human hybrid, which, you know, when I read that, I thought, like, what, you know, is this some sort of like cyborg or like man and machine? But it's actually not that. It's because the bike's speed is somehow controlled by the person pedaling, but I'm not going to get into it. I know we're going to hear a lot more about how it works and what it means and what it's all about. So without further ado, I would like to introduce the founder and chairman of eROCKIT, Andreas Survema, and the CEO of Motovolt Mobility, Tushar Chowdhury, because there is also a really exciting new partnership that was announced not that long ago between eROCKIT, which is based outside of Berlin, and Motovolt, which, as most of you know, is India's leading e-mobility brand. So it's a huge win for both companies. It's a huge win for the EV industry, and we're really excited to have both of them tell us more. So welcome, gentlemen.
Yeah, thank you very much for the nice introduction. Good afternoon. A very big honor to speak in front of such a distinguished audience. I'm Andy Survema from eROCKIT AG. The theme of our stuff here, scaling hardware. I think scaling hardware is still one of the biggest challenges you can face. We scaled already a little bit, and I can still feel myself sweating. I know what I'm talking about. So what I want to try to do is shed some light on what does it mean scaling in terms of such a product in cooperation with our partner Motovolt, where Mr. Tushar Chowdhury will talk in about 10 minutes. And first of all, I want to talk a little bit about the product because, believe it or not, it has some German DNA inside. And the disruption will be clear a little bit later. Let's see, 1870, the first bicycle, a German gentleman named Ludwig Freyer Dreis with the first bicycle, 1817, so plus 200 years ago. The message of that, like, if you can use that thing with your pedals somehow, why don't we make, look at the right side of the picture, why don't we make horses fly? So what does it mean? I mean, disruption, first of all, is to be laughed about. What the heck, motorcycle with pedals? Very interesting. This was called, in English, it's a few decades later, it would call running machine with pedal operating system. Please remember that word for a second. Pedal operating system, 1853. A lot of people from you might know the Reitwagen from Daimler-Benz, Mercedes-Benz, so I'm sure we know that name. That was 1885. Very interesting, really a number of years later. A gentleman called Oskar Hedström invented the hand throttle. You know all that, if you rent a scooter somewhere in the city on the right side with this throttle, you bring this vehicle in gear. And he did that, by the way, for the famous company Indian Motorcycles, still very famous. I'm into electric mobility, but okay, that was a good one. Now, if you put it that way, it took 200 years that a little tiny disruption brought technology back into pedals, so brought pedals back to its roots, but by using high-performance technology. What does that mean? That means that a disruption from something which had belonged together came together after 200 years. Sounds strange, but it is. So next one, nothing happens. What does it mean if you bring this alive? I mean, if you make the first products, what do you need? You need reactions. Nothing is more valuable than the first reaction. I hope I'm not too stupid to use this device here and show that in a short video. It's only 1 hour and 50 minutes. No, it's only 50 seconds. I'm kidding.
It's the first time I've ever ridden fast on a bike.
adds another dimension of control.
Suddenly you just take off.
Mega. Brauche ich.
It wasn't hot, it didn't smell, it wasn't really heavy, all of the things that I know motorbikes are.
Just the acceleration and the power that this thing has is just incredible.
I felt like I was 21.
That was the coolest thing ever. It's insane. I want one.
So that one, I need to write it more, because if the gentleman is right, I mean, back to 21, that would be an idea. So maybe I'll do that in the future much more than I did it so far. So a more interesting thing, because we are talking about scaling, what is or what comes next? And what next comes, don't think if you are prototyping, you are ready for scaling. A lot of German companies, I think worldwide companies, did that, and they failed miserably, because prototyping is not scaling. When you have a prototype, the hard stuff, customer reactions, feedback, negative, positive, is still to come. So that means you need customers. This means our customers did about plus 400,000 kilometers with the bikes, which means we got feedback from the most important asset a company has, its customer. And a lot of times that will be forgotten. So that means we have a series up and running, we got bikes back, we got feedback, negative, positive. This is your basis for even think about scaling. I can only recommend don't do it before. If you're not sure about the product, about its quality, the negative issues will brought into the scaling, and that will kill you. Sorry, that's the way it is. What's next is, and this comes a little bit to our German-Indian project already, is what I call the big three: people, people, and people. We are still working a bit under the Steve Jobs rule, what we'll say, take a bunch of good people and let them do an exciting product, and they can change the world. This is really what we believe in. Now, if we are talking in our project, we have Germany in the race, we have Indians there. When I think about our Zoom calls, we have people from the UK, we have people from Italy. I'm from a town where 900 people are living in North Rhine-Westphalia, Germany, just to underline. More international is not possible, you will agree. So the people factor I would see as very, very important. Because what do you have to do? You have to work on a daily basis that all these people are getting into that visionary direction. For example, in my case, me and my colleague Tushar Chaudhary are going. Because if one is doing a little bit this way, the requirements are here, and one is going that way, you don't end up in the middle with a great product. So the communication between this, let's say, team of, in this case, 4 to 5, 6 countries, I would say, in order to get the scaling done, is very, very, very important, no question. Well, just a word about what one want to do. If this is, for example, India, or generally, if you're speaking of India, if you have been in traffic in Delhi, you never say Berlin has traffic jam. So that means we need smart products, agile products, two-wheelers. India is the country of two-wheelers. So a logical reason that our first scaling partner is from the biggest electromobility market. And that has reasons. Environmental protection, we share the vision. My personal thing is always that I say the climate change is not here in Germany to be decided. It's decided in those countries. We have a little tiny bit of a few percent, but if we don't use technology to be present in other continents where really climate change is a very, very critical issue, we will not survive. So this is why I always think about continents and never think about countries. I think that's the wrong way. Think about continents, that's the key. Last very important issue, and I think very critical, to scale up, you need finance. I know people say, oh, I know you're talking about finance. But anyway, it is a critical issue. You have to face it. How we done it is not only by this corporation. We have opened up a pre-IPO stock corporation company. So that means we are able to sell stocks. and we have 300 people already owning stocks in our company. I'm very warmly welcome more investors, more stock owners. I take credit card and cash, no problem at all. So that's a very important thing. And Motovolt, which very specifically shared that vision I have. We have been approached by hundreds of countries and really a lot of Indian companies. But the separation was clearly the same vision, to have products which coming from technology to the emission-free issue, to have really a better and cleaner planet, because I think that's absolutely essential. So this is more or less the reason why we sort of ended up with Motovolt, if I may say so. In terms of the Indian market, there are huge numbers to announce. Again, the theme was scaling. So scaling has to be vice versa, which means, and Tusha will explain that as well, we as eROCKIT in Germany are absolutely benefiting from that scaling. Most of the people think in Germany, now they're leaving to India, we're gone. That's absolutely not true if you scale on a bilateral basis. This is what we want to do. This is underway already, which I'm very happy about. In terms of what does it mean, what is the benefit of this project, what is the benefit of this scaling, I think my dear colleague Tusha Chaudhary, which is the Chief Executive Officer from Motovolt, can explain that much better. I'd be happy to come back in 10 minutes when there are some questions. Maybe I have answers. Thank you very much. Tusha, please.
So, I don't think I can match Andy's energy, but, I will try to somehow be near that. So basically, I am an alum of Harvard Business School, and what they teach at the business school is they develop leaders to make difference in life of others. So this was the reason when we, from a chemical background to large family business to, a successful business career for the last 25 years, I thought myself, what to do next? So the idea was that why not come into industry that can change the world? Why not come into innovation? Why not choose products that can change lives of millions of people around the world by providing them some green, clean mobility option? That was the reason we came into electric two-wheelers, which was obviously one of the largest in the world, and India is the largest market for the same. So a very short brief about our company. We, Motovolt, we own one of the fastest growing e-bike brand in India. We have got almost 10,000 bikes on the road, 7 million kilometers. We have got 4 different categories of products. So we are in all the value chain of products, starting from e-bikes to e-scooters to everything. So this we are doing for the last 5 years. And most interesting part of today what we have in India is that we are a 8% growing GDP country with growing very fast, growing very stable, and we have population of 1.4 billion, which is one of the largest in the world today. And very interesting story behind this is today 65% of our population is below 35 years of age. That means we have a bunch of people with a lot of aspirations. They want to do a lot of things. So that is the reason we are growing very fast. And today also happy to announce that we are one of the world's largest two-wheeler market, and today selling 20 million two-wheelers on the road and are growing at the rate of 8 to 10%. That means by 2030, we are at 30 million two-wheelers. And in these two-wheelers, we see that government is today in India is announcing a lot of policies in terms of electrifying the nation. So we see a huge demand growth of more than 50% CAGR in the electric two-wheeler industry. Today, when we see the partnership today with our dear friend Andy, what we see is different in the eROCKIT, as you saw in the video. It's a unique technology. It's just not a product. I think it's an experience, it's an inspiration, because I think people all around the room, if you have time, if you can go and ride eROCKIT standing on the booth, it's a different thrill altogether. It is a product which is kind of, you can say, while pedaling, you enjoy the thrill of a motorcycle while experience of riding a normal cycle. I think this is very unique. We believe that this is a new category in the world which we have seen bikes, we have seen e-bikes, we have seen motorcycles, but this human hybrid is something which is very unique. And we as Motovolt, we believe that this is the next big thing that is going to come, and which is about eROCKIT. Because eROCKIT is something like it works on a software, it works on technology with a very unique design. So it's a combination of a software, technology, design all together. So we believe that this is going to the future, and we are very much bullish on expanding together with Andy in India, in global markets. So looking at some data on this two-wheeler market in India, we can say that today we are at 15 million every year we're selling in the Indian market. 65% of the market is motorcycles, which is 10 million. 35% of the market is scooters, which is around 5 million. So very interesting data point here is year on year, we are growing at more than 50% rate for two-wheelers. So today we have a penetration of almost 14% on the scooter side, but we only have a penetration of 0.1% in the motorcycle segment, which is 10 million every year, which is growing at the rate of 10%. So you can imagine the amount of market potential India has for the motorcycle category. And we believe that this is going to fit very well in the strategy with eROCKIT, when we are going to industrialize and bring eROCKIT on the Indian roads. So as I said that India is a country of people with aspirations. We have people with age group of less than 35 years, 65% of the population. So the category what is growing in India is, which is like between the 200 and 350 cc of motorcycles, which is kind of more expensive ones. But this category is growing at the rate of 40% CAGR. Can you imagine a category which India is kind of people with country with a lot of aspirations, and this category which is growing at 40%, we believe eROCKIT is the perfect fit into this market going forward. So what we have a plan to industrialize eROCKIT in India. Today India is the home for best brands in the world. Today we have got brands like BMW, we have got KTM, we have got Royal Enfield, Triumph, we have got all the best brands in the world. They are present in India today. And India has 200 billion market of auto components. So India is the base for high-end products. So the strategy what we have is to bring the eROCKIT technology, the knowledge, and to industrialize the product in the Indian market, and thereafter sell this product in the Indian market, and also export the product out of India, and scale this up and sell the product in the European market through eROCKIT. So idea is to use the technology know-how what we have of this brilliant product in India, in Germany, and to bring to India. So these are the 4 different products what we are planning to launch. So the eROCKIT 1, which is there on the booth, you can see, and eROCKIT 2, which we are designing for the Indian market. So this will be very soon, it is in the design phase, and by next year we can see this on the roads. We also planning to have Indian mass market, which is a lower price model coming forward in 2025. But the strategy is that not only India, this product will be also made in India and will be assembled in Germany going forward, where we'll use Berlin, the Henningsdorf site, what we have today for eROCKIT, to supplying this rocket to all around Germany and, in fact, all around the European market. So we have a global manufacturing facility in India with 50,000 units per year, and we are going to expand. And our company is proposing that we spend around $10 million to industrialize eROCKIT in Indian market and develop the components to export the products to Germany and the global market. So this is all about what we do. We were recently on a Formula E race track, which Andy took us there, and we were happy to announce. We see that this partnership between what Germany has today, because German engineering and technology is regarded very well in India. We have got the best auto companies from Germany in India, very successful. So India has a lot of respect for German engineering technology. And we believe, and India is a huge market for two-wheelers coming forward, and the government is very, very serious on electrification. So our strategy is the technology, the know-how, the product, which is right now Andy, with a lot of passion and aspiration, has built it to give it a scale. So this scale, not only in India, but we propose to take eROCKIT to all around the world. So in the last press conference in Germany, in Berlin 2 months back, there were questions that, what is we do with eROCKIT? What is the whole thing about? So we believe that eROCKIT has the potential to change lives of millions of people all around the world, because this is something very unique. Because this is, while pedaling, you can have the thrill of a motorcycle. You can meet the aspiration of the youth in future. This is a completely new category. And as Motovolt, we strongly believe in this partnership with our dear friend Andy and the whole team. And we are sure that this will be a big success going forward. Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you very much. And Andy, I may call you Andy, since your colleague keeps calling you Andy, so.
Makes me feel like 21.
Okay,
you know,
excellent. So I bet we have lots of questions for the two of you. Thank you so much for each of your presentations. It's definitely fascinating to see this journey and then this partnership and what it means. So we'll open the floor for questions from our audience and also invite anybody who is following along the live stream to send in their questions using the app. So maybe somebody first from inside the room? Huh? Can I ask a question? Because I'm inside the room.
Sure.
So I'm just wondering, who is your target group? Because it's not an e-bike really, it's not a motorcycle. So I know my father-in-law, who's 83, rides an e-bike, but I can't really see him riding one of your products at the age of 83, but maybe he could. So when you envision who your ideal or typical customer is, who exactly is that?
Well, that's you are not German, obviously, but that's a typically German thinking, you know. If there is a product, there must be a customer, and there must be somebody you have to fight with. This is not the case. We are open a new category with this motorcycle. That means we are fishing in different waters. As customers, we have the motorcycle riders. You put the eROCKIT beside their ice machine because they don't want to, you know, the combustion engine, they don't want to give it away. We have those who have ridden a motorcycle maybe 20, 25, 30 years ago, and they are the buyers of today. We have the people who never have ridden a motorcycle but can, for example, in Germany, get a small license B196 and can ride the eROCKIT as well. As we have a very, let me put it in that way. We have all these people loving their S-pedelec, the fast pedelec, 45 kilometers per hour. They like their S-pedelec as long as they have not ridden the eROCKIT. Very easy. So that means the customer base, of course, in continents has variations. Tusha can say more about it, but generally speaking, it's a new category of riding a two-wheeler. So it's not focused on, let's say, the engineer in the age of this and that, and so on and so forth. And that makes it a worldwide killer product, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. And maybe the perspective from India, like, do you have a typical customer or maybe not? Or?
Yeah, we have. So we did some initial research and we found out that this is a very unique product where, you know, it's electric, number one. Number two, it gives you a thrill of riding a motorcycle, the speed, the performance, the acceleration, and the experience of while pedaling. So this is a hybrid combination, which is while pedaling, you can go at 100 kilometers per hour zoom. So this is something very unique and aspirational. So we are planning to position this in the motorcycle category because definitely that fits it. And in the Indian model, what we are designing, we are also having a throttle option together with pedaling. So people can do a dual combination of a throttle and pedal as well. So we believe it's a very unique product and is going to fit in that mass market category.
So if I understood you correctly, in a way, it could appeal to people who don't want to go necessarily at the maximum speed as kind of a beefed up e-bike that could do more if it needed to, and then the people who are addicted to speed but don't want this stinky, loud, you know, internal combustion motorbike would say, well, you know what, 90 kilometers is good enough. I'll enjoy that. I'd rather use this to get around than, and I save the horrible, stinky thing just for like once a year and use this for every day. So, okay, interesting. Let's maybe take a look at a question sent in via the app. So the question is, what are you doing different from your competitors? Do you have competitors? Who are your competitors if this is a unique product? Or do you see other competitors?
Well, a real competitor indeed is not existing. If I would answer the question, what are you doing different from competitors, I not necessarily look at competitors. The competitor is not giving us our money. The customer is giving us our money. So if you are focused on that product, and again, if you have customers, if you have tests, we have about 600, 700 test rides from different people, that is the important thing. If I think about my competitor every day, that's something that's wasted time. So we are a little bit different in that direction. It's a bit compared to the successful apps. If Elon Musk would have thought about these Roadster, is it correct? And should it have bigger wheels? And if we should have 10 million questions, Tesla in our days would never be existed. Very easy.
Mm-hmm. Any questions from our audience? We have somebody here. Can get to the gentleman the microphone.
Thank you. First of all, it's a really, truly unique product that you showed. So not talking about particularly the competition, but knowing the Indian market and the competition regarding the prices. So I would like to know how competitive you would price it compared to the other lower range ICE models or also e-bikes.
Yeah. So we are not targeting normally at e-bikes. So what we are targeting in the category of 200cc plus, like we have the Royal Enfields and of the world and Harleys of India. So we are targeting at that category. We look for aspiration, style, performance. So that is our target audience in this, and which is, as I said, that we sell around 100,000 every month of this category of pricing more than 4,000 or 3,000 euros. So this is the category what we're looking at, and we feel that this is a very promising category to go after.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
And the mass product could be even different with a lower price, but that's not for next year.
To start with, we are looking at the more aspiration, build up the aspiration and uniqueness, because recently today there was a test rider on our stall and he was riding in it. We asked him, what is it like? What is the experience? He said, you know what, this is Tesla on wheels. I said, okay, we got it. So we are getting compliments already, and I'm sure that this innovative product is very unique because while you're pedaling, you are generating electricity which is going back to the batteries. So this is also very unique, that this is a very efficient vehicle, light engineered, and it's very balanced aerodynamics. So this is a very unique product, and I'm sure that today Andy has developed this. India, we have the opportunity to scale this up to a mass market product. So very excited for it.
For sure. Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Let's take a look, maybe one question from the app, and then we'll have one more question from the floor. So most electric motorcycle manufacturers can convince with their performance. Unfortunately, they're not powerful enough for longer trips on highways and are also an expensive purchase. How do you deal with this? Is it only for the city, or are you also planning a larger version?
Let me first start with the customer base. 80%, if not 85% of our customer base is outside any big city. That means, I think this comes more from the Germany, Austria, Switzerland point of view, from the tour bikers. But the tour bikers are really only a small portion. First of all, the performance with 100 kilometers per hour and the performance of an electric engine. It's quite a difference from a combustion engine. So first of all, our riders have a ton of fun. Second question, where can I ride 200 with my Ducati in our days? Where can I generally speed more than 100 in our days? So this is a question which is in theory existing, and when we experience our customers, it becomes irrelevant. Are we planning a larger version? We are technology open. If I have a battery technology, let's say in a year from now, in 3 years from now, where the battery provider says, hey, with my battery, you can run it 360 kilometers and not 160. I would say, okay, no, I'm not interested. Of course I'm interested. So let's wait what technology brings to us. But for the moment, we have an experience, and this counts for the Indian market as well, that our range of 130 kilometers is absolutely sufficient.
if you don't mind, I would want to jump in with my own question. But what about the safety? I mean, I understand that, you know, a rider riding at 130 kilometers on a motorway, that's pretty dangerous. And like I also was thinking, your bike looks very light. So what happens to the safety profile of a vehicle like this if it's so much lighter than an internal combustion bike, if it gets hit or knocked over, or if the rider loses their balance because he's so much lighter than these really heavy, stinky, I must add, polluting versions of the two-wheelers? So what kind of data do you have on the safety profile for the rider?
Well, first of all, let me put it in one way. Our CTO is an ex-KTM racer, so he knows how to deal with motorcycles. And it's not really true that it is lighter. The eROCKIT 1, our new project, for example, is 130 kilograms roughly. A KTM 125 is 142. So it's not, don't think as the product, you need to go outside and look at it, and immediately we say, oops, I thought it is smaller. This is a big thing. So it's absolutely produced and designed, and the geometry is made for running safely 100 kilometers per hour. If it comes to the brakes, if it comes to whatever, it is safe to ride. We believe it is even safer to ride than a motorcycle. Why? Because you operate it with an intuitive thing, pedaling, which you learned as a child, and you don't have a clutch, you don't have a foot brake, you don't shift gears, you don't use a throttle, and so on and so forth. So from the safetiness, I only can say that in a kind of a marketing speech, but it is the truth. We only receive absolutely positive feedback.
Interesting. Sorry, thank you for your patience. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just curious to know, as somebody from Mumbai, I was just curious to know how would this product differ in, like, you know, since it's expanding, it's intrinsically German and it's expanding to South Asian market. How is it going to differ? Because riding experiences are different in German cities compared to Indian megacities, right? Like the bustling cities of India. So I'm just curious to know whether, is there going to be any variation in the products?
Yeah. Yeah, so we are planning an eROCKIT 2, which is more Indian kind of version. We are trying to, based on the behavior of the customers in India, we are trying to match that vehicle in terms of height of the vehicle, the size of the vehicle. Also, we are going to provide a throttle option as well, because India is more of people sometimes might go on throttle. So it is a dual model, which is a pedal and throttle both. So it's very unique. So I think this is the very new thing what we are doing for Indian market. So it's a new product that we are designing, and we believe range is fine within 100 kilometers plus. It is good enough for our cities in India.
And if I may add, you can adjust the height of the saddle, you can adjust the pedal, you can adjust the handlebar. So it has 3 features to cover the world so that every rider feels good on the bike and safe on the bike.
Okay, and with that, we're going to end it there. Thank you so much, Tushar and Andy. Really fascinating stuff. Good luck with the project. Thank you.
Thank you.